The blasphemous absurdities and implications of believing in the Trinity. Trinitarian disrespect for God. The doctrine of the Trinity results in some very irreverent implications concerning God and/or Jesus. To be Trinitarian is to believe that the baby in the manger was Almighty God from the moment he had been conceived in Mary's womb. Yes, the same Almighty God who had delivered their forefathers out of Egypt. It is to believe that this infant child was the same God who created the world. If we are a Trinitarian who supposes Joseph and Mary were quite aware that their child Jesus was Almighty God, we would then be compelled to believe Mary carried her God in her belly. We would then be compelled to believe Mary saw fit to potty train her God, or we would have to fancifully suppose potty training God was not necessary. We would have to either suppose Mary instructed her God to keep his hands out of the cookie jar, or fancifully suppose no such instruction would ever be necessary for this toddler. We must also believe they lost the Almighty when he was 12 years old. We must believe that God's parents were worried about where the Almighty was. We must believe that God grew in wisdom, and we must believe that Mary would see fit to prostrate herself in front of her toddler son. We must also believe that Joseph and Mary believed they had to save their God from the threat of humans. We must also believe that Almighty God was hiding in Egypt from human beings who wanted to kill him. Even if one supposes that Joseph and Mary were not aware their son was their God, the Almighty God, the situation has still not improved, because God still needed to be saved from the threat of humans, and God was still 12 years old, and he was still lost, and God still grew in wisdom. And if we are Trinitarian, and we suppose that Joseph and Mary were completely unaware their child was Almighty God, the situation then has a whole set of different profane implications. We must believe that Almighty God, who was being held in Mary's arms, knew every language in the world, past, present, future. And we must believe this despite the fact we are told he did in fact grow in wisdom. We must claim on one day that Jesus of Nazareth was all-knowing and all-powerful, but on another day, just for the occasion, he pretended to limit himself in his incarnation so that we can attempt to accommodate these problems. And then as soon as we feel we have addressed them, we can again forget them and insist he was all-powerful and all-knowing. We must talk out of both sides of our mouths. We must believe this 2-day-old infant child had the inherent power to walk on water and to know everything that was on his mother's mind, but coyly never let her know. We must believe this infant child was the God to whom Mary was praying to, but he never bothered to tell her. We must believe that this infant child could speak every language known to mankind, past, present, and future, but still misled his mother to believe otherwise. The Trinitarian mind must choose to simply temporarily forget his own beliefs when he considers the facts about baby Jesus. He must choose to forget he believes this was Almighty God just for the moment, but the fact remains that his doctrine insists that this infant child was indeed Almighty God, and the implications to his beliefs are exposed as utterly outrageous.